Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Suited Kings podcast.
Shut up, Wes.
Today, Max, I was just going to say, Max, he seems so calm and focused. He actually had a good sleep the other night.
First time in forever, honestly.
First time in forever.
Oh, it feels so good to just be able to talk crap to you again. I haven't even had the energy to do that lately.
I know. Well, how's the dad life been treating you so far? It's been about a month now.
Just under, 3.5 weeks. It's been good. My life has completely changed, honestly, as I've said before. It's my focus, a lot of my hobbies have been put on hold, and now it's just kind of focusing on my son, and he's getting big very quickly. And I just have to learn something new every day, it feels like, with him. So we're, wife and I are doing good, and we're learning, and just love the dude as much as he possibly could.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah. I wonder. I'm curious what that life will be like for you one day.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, on the plus side, I have a very flexible work schedule.
Yeah.
On the negative side, I get unlimited TO, but I don't get any PTO, as I say.
Yeah. I very much underestimated what it would be like, but that's okay, because you just you never really are truly prepared until you get in there and see what it's like. It's like, they call it the trenches for a reason the first few weeks, because you're just kind of figuring everything out. But I will mention on top of that, and I'm very thankful that real estate has been absolutely slaying it as we approach the spring market. So I got a little balance between work and raising him right now. So thankful to be as busy as I've ever been with real estate, and then also to be able to work with him. And then also to, just look at your pretty face.
Look at my beautiful face. There we go.
Balanced.
Yeah. Man, your wife just must love when you say that kind of stuff to her, right?
I want to stay married, Wes.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, things are going well here. Yeah. I don't know if did we do an episode since? Yeah, we don't need to talk about who won the last meetup game.
Yeah, let's ignore who won that. If you're really curious, go look at who's got the tag in Discord. That's how you'll know.
Yeah, what a disgrace.
Just like in Harry Potter, refuse the name that shall not be said, or however.
Yeah, he who shall not be named anymore.
There we go.
Yeah, we've mentioned his name.
Dude, I'm excited to talk poker with you today. This is a nice kind of getaway for me to get in here and look at how we're going to be raising from the small blind and big blind. And I think you're going to kind of take the reins on this today as the theory expert. So I'm looking forward to getting questions asked by you to see if I'm in line or not.
Yeah, well, and the truth is, one of the things about this is I don't think very many people are. I mean, in terms of our listeners, I know you and I are probably not, especially when we look at the big blind, but even the small blind. I think there's some under 3 betting being done by the general population. And so there are a couple aspects to this. One, we can learn how to theoretically do it correctly. 2, we can learn how to exploitatively do it better. And then 3, we can learn, okay, because people aren't doing this correctly, how do we exploitatively respond to it?
Let me ask you a question. As we start to learn, because I'd say theory is kind of like liquid in this sense, right? So whereas as people start learning what theoretically is correct, the theory will adjust to kind of exploit that. Does that make sense? Am I wrong in thinking that? So, for example, everybody starts 3-betting ace-5 suited from the big blind to a button open. Does that now adjust in theory or no?
No, because the theory is like the equilibrium, right?
Okay.
So if people are doing something, theory is what is not exploitable, right? So there is no way to adjust to exploit it. Now, it's just there's no way a human is ever actually going to implement this perfectly because even the smallest detail can slightly move it, right? We're going to look at 60 big blinds, we're going to look at 30 big blinds. But let's say your opponent actually has 52 big blinds. Well, then your optimal sizing is going to be slightly different, and that might slightly change. So we're not really worried on the exact strategy. We're more thinking about why. And then because then when you're thinking about why, then you can think about, okay, so well, if I'm three betting this hand to fold out these hands, but I think this specific player is just a calling station and they're going to call all these hands, then you realize, oh, okay, this kind of sucks as a three bet if we're doing it as a bluff, but they're never folding, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so, but you are right that as someone's strategy changes, we certainly want to change ours. But like the theory is sort of just
But
like
that's exploitative and not based on theory.
correct. Yeah, the theory kind of stays stagnant because it is technically what is the unexploitable strategy, even though that also requires playing that way the whole hand. So
Okay. I
lots of
understand.
caveats there.
I get
So
it. Well, I yeah, let's get into some how we're supposed to be three betting from the small and big blind. I want to take it from both positions today, and I will mention
of
uh,
course you do.
moving forward. Uh, I lost my train of thought. So what we're going to do, or what I'm excited to looking forward to, God, it took me a minute to get back, but we got the WSOP prep series coming up.
Mhm.
This will be our third year doing that. We usually do about five-ish episodes or so. So look forward to that coming up as we approach April and May. Yes, like get prepared to just absolutely slay this World Series. We are looking forward to sharing that content with you. Each year we tackle it kind of from a different perspective. We plan on getting a bunch of special guests on to assist us in trying to prepare you guys as best as we can. So keep an eye out for that. And without further ado, let's do some three betting.
Let's do it. All right. So we're going to start at the 60 big blind stack, and we are going to start by looking at how to three bet the small blind. And
Okay.
we'll start just looking at when early position opens. So this is under the gun, eight handed. Um,
Can we talk about
so
some generalizations before we get deep into theory from how we should be thinking about some three betting from the small blind versus the position that is opening?
yeah, and I think even we'll keep it more general in terms of theory too, because so if you guys are watching this on YouTube, um, or I should say, those of you listening, if you can, it would be helpful to watch it because we are looking at pre-flop charts here, so
Hmm.
that will give you an extra data point, but we'll kind of explain
I'm
what
going
I'm
to put
looking
this
at here.
episode on YouTube with visuals.
Perfect. So the
They
small
might puke
blind,
after looking at you, but
yeah, they will. They'll never be this handsome, but they what they will see too is that when we're three betting out of the small blind, and this kind of goes in general, right?
hmm.
We're doing so in a more linear way. And by that, what we mean is it's more obviously you're three betting your best hands, but even the non-premiums we're three betting are still all kind of the strongest hands. So you'll see like, yeah, we always want to three bet, queens plus, ace king, some king queen suited, king jack suited, jacks tens, queen jacks, like stuff that all sort of makes sense. And then even the weaker three bets, um, it sort of goes down from there. Like, yeah, we want to sometimes three bet and sometimes call some suited connectors, some suited aces, ace jack,
So there's a line from when it becomes a value three bet to a three bet bluff, and it's like when do we just does that seem fair to say, and how do we distinguish that? So example like um, an early position opens, we're 60 big blinds deep. We have nines in the small blind. I will say in general, I'm typically like versus a late position open, I'm going to be three betting this, but versus an early position open, I'm going to be set mining more frequently. Um,
yeah. And that's sort of
if I start three betting this from the small blind, is it? I mean, I guess is it a bluff or is it just a bluff when it's something that's clearly not value like ace five suited or something like that versus early position?
good question. I guess the point is like from the small blind, it's not even that we're bluffing per se because none of the bottom, like I guess 6-5 suited is for sure a bluff. Like we're looking to get a fold, but
I struggle to find those three bets, especially to early position opens from small blind.
right. And then so here's what I'm going to do is now we're looking at, okay, we three bet from the small blind. here's what under the gun is supposed to do. And can you see like the blue versus the green here
Y-
versus the
Yep.
red?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so the blue is fold, and so they're supposed to fold like ace jack off, ace 10 off, king queen,
Let me
queen
clarify.
nine
Sorry,
suited.
I'm not following. So is this for what we're doing from the small blind to an early position open?
So the last chart was small blind, and then this is what under the gun is supposed to do when small blind three bets.
Oh,
So
I gotcha. Okay.
the filled in hands are the hands they opened.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to open, and
Mm-hmm.
of those hands, this is what
I
they're
gotcha.
supposed to do.
Okay, and this is the response to the three bet. I see.
Yeah. And actually, let's I think we should do it this way. Let's go through just this aspect of the positions, and then should we dive into how to exploit?
Yeah, I like it.
Because I think if we do that at each stop, it might it'll be a little redundant because the exploit is kind of the same idea.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, and then low jack opens. You see as small blind, it's not literally the same. We're gonna be three betting a little wider with like the king 10 suited, king 9 suited, some jack 8 suited, ace 10 off is the bottom three bet instead of ace jack off. But like overall, it's still just very weighted towards the strong stuff,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and and then let's say, instead of facing a low jack open, we're facing a button open.
It'll widen ranges, I'd assume.
Yeah. So now as button, they're gonna have so many more opens. So as the small blind, now instead of just like down to ace 10, we can three bet ace 8 off, ace 7 off sometimes. And then all these suited kings,
Hey,
suited queens, suited
shut up.
jacks, like I think it's fair to say that, even you and me and a lot of strong players are not doing this frequently enough.
You want to know something funny? I got a quick story, tangent story. Roughly, I mean, it's 2026. This is a decade ago, probably 2020, 2015, 2014, maybe.
Wow.
Playing running aces, back when you were still in diapers.
Yep.
Got,
Yep.
got, gotta, gotta add that. Joe Barnard, MN player. He's a great poker player. Him and I battled a lot back in the day. But I opened the button, and or maybe it could have been cut off. I think it was button, but he three bet me from the small blind. And I don't remember the action of the hand, but I remember at showdown he showed up with Queen Jack offsuit. And I was like blown away that he three bet that hand instead of calling it from the small blind.
Yeah.
And this is before we were like charts like this. So he was like ahead of the game at that point by doing that kind of stuff. Then it was, anyways, tangent complete.
Yeah, no, I believe it. And even sometimes I will think that because it is just it feels sort of uncommon for this stuff to happen. Like I think people tend to just want to see flops or play a little, more passive.
Yeah.
And right. So I don't know. We can in
Let me
terms of
ask you real quick as
yeah,
well. Sorry to keep cutting you off.
sorry.
How does that adjust as we get more shallow? Do we become tighter with our three bets in general, or do we become more aggressive with our three bets?
Good question. So I think what we'll see is it's going to be different types of hands. There's more, there's going to be some that are three bet small, and then there are just going to be some three bet jams for 30 big blinds too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like put low, small pocket pairs and stuff.
Yeah, some suited Broadway, some ace king off, ace queen off, ace jack off, depending on
I'm
what
always
position.
scared of what the threshold is for those because I find those spots kind of frequently. The 30 big blind, you have 30 bigs and the small button opens. What's the threshold for jamming here? Like I'm probably jamming king 10 suited.
Mhm.
But and maybe I mean, but is queen jack suited too wide?
Probably not.
Right, right. I
And
guess yeah, but that's not what we're stuck on, I suppose. So
yeah, we'll take a look at that in a moment here. And then here's what I want to do is like, okay, so as small blind, when we three bet against button, they're supposed to do a lot of calling and a lot of folding.
and this is 60 bigs deep.
This is 60 bigs
It
deep.
wants us to stuff pocket deuces.
Yeah. Um,
So, guys, if you're watching the audio version of this, if we're 60 bigs deep, but no, so we're both effective 60, right?
yep.
I 100% will never do this, even though the chart says to, but it wants us 100%, 90% of the time to jam pocket deuces and probably roughly 70%, 60% of the time to jam pocket threes, and then just pure call fours through sevens, and then
Hmm.
half the time jam eights, 100% of the jam, almost 100% jam nines and tens. And
Hmm.
then you start balancing out with jacks, queens, always flat kings and aces as a trap.
Yeah.
I'm reading that right. The deuces just
Yeah.
has me dead.
You're reading that right. So this is kind of a good tangent to like, okay, but why, right? And you said you'd never do it, and I think that comes from a smart place
Well,
because
especially live because they're not playing perfect poker. And
yeah, even online, it's like, so small blind is supposed to be three betting a bunch of medium offsuit aces. They're supposed to be mixing in almost any suited hand they can have apart from like queen 10, king 10, ace 10, ace 9 suited. They're supposed to like every suited king, every suited queen down to queen 5, every suited like jack 7 suited, 10-7 suited, 8-6 suited. All this stuff is sometimes supposed to three bet. And the reason that you are not four bet jamming deuces from the
because they're not
button,
three betting these hands enough.
right? It's because their three bet range for most people, it's more like, you know, maybe eights or nines plus, and then
Well, let me ask you
suited
this then
broadways.
to follow
Yeah.
up on that. How do you adjust your three betting to not match what the that is, but to kind of balance what you think your opponents are doing? Or to, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, my argument actually would be I think we and a lot of players listening to this should try and emulate this small blind strategy a little more. And now we're talking a little bit exploitatively, but the button strategy, I think we should play even tighter than this, right?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, not only are we not jamming these bottom hands, but I think we should be um probably, folding some of these suited kings, the queen six suited, like ace 10 off, ace 9 off, king 10 off. It says for us to call here, but I think like if we know the three betting range is just much stronger, we should, especially the offsuit stuff, we should be folding because these don't have nearly as good of implied odds. Um, and now there are a few factors, right? Like I don't think we mentioned, but the small blind three bet size is going to be, depending, it's like 9.8 bigs, but we'll call it between 9.5 to 10 bigs.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like a lot of people make the mistake where they'll go something like 7.5 bigs, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
seven bigs.
Yeah.
Now that actually makes us more likely to call again, right? Um, and another good thing for people to know is when you face like a three bet pre-flop, the smaller they go, the more you want to call because you're getting a better price, but
Yep.
also the less you want to four bet, which is can be kind of surprising. Um, but yeah, you want to call some hands that you were going to fold, and then you want to call some hands that you were going to four bet because four betting, like the stronger calling gets, the less incentive you have to four bet in a way, or like, and also the less chips they put in, the less incentive you have to steal right now, right?
Right. Yep.
So if let's say you open the button, we're 60 big blinds deep, small blind three bets to seven big blinds. Like I don't have the perfect strategy in front of me here, but I think we would be calling, um, quite wide, probably. Now, again, they might have a tighter range than they're supposed to, so maybe we're going to call this range of hands anyways, but then we're just not going to jam like anything. We're going to maybe have a smaller four bet sizing,
That makes
like,
sense.
and just use aces, kings, queens, ace, king, you know?
Yep. Yeah.
Um,
I'm surprised that at 60 bigs deep it wants us to pure call kings and aces. I feel like to me it makes more in like intuitively it makes more sense to flat those on a smaller stack, say 20 big blinds, because it's going to be much easier for us to get them in.
And then maybe click these up.
And then click these up first off, because I feel like when we're this deep, people are expecting us to three bet wider out of the small blind. At least that's my thought. When we're deep and I open button, I expect more three bets from the small blind. Whether that's correct or not, but just what I expect. So,
Mhm.
and then on top of trying to maximize our value, like I feel like if we want to have any chance of getting in 60 bigs, we got to start raising at this point to make sure that that we can get the chips all in by the river.
Yeah, well, and I think those are your instincts based on what actually happens in a lot of poker, especially live poker. And I think
Hmm.
it's right too. Like if we look at kings here, if you look at the lower right part of this, it shows the EV, the theoretical EV of every play, and you'll notice
Hmm.
that calling and raising to 20 big blinds
Oh, they're
are
identical.
very close.
Hmm.
So I think your thought to like click this back to 20 bigs is probably actually better in practice.
Sorry, I'm not saying in terms of four bet. Oh, wait, so this is in four betting, not in three betting from the small, or five betting, not three
Yeah, so
betting.
this is the button strategy facing the 3-bet. Yeah.
Okay. So I apologize. I thought this was the small blind, but okay.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Small blind,
This
it wants
is
us to pure three bet, right? Okay.
yes,
Thank you.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
You can just ignore that whole last 30 seconds, guys.
All right, all right. We won't make a short out of that. Um,
It
so
makes sense though, sorry, that we can call more in that position because again, that my point was how are we going to get the chips in and
mhm.
being four betting, there already being a four bet from the button, the pot will be big enough to be able to get it. Will be big enough for us to be able to get it in by the river.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Um,
I'm not even going to edit that out. I'm just going to leave that in there.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, why
It
not?
wasn't too bad. Um, okay, yeah. So I guess overall, I think small blind 3-betting, even though there are a lot of hands in here that maybe we don't use enough, I think it is a little bit more intuitive than the big blind 3-bets because it's just like kind of linear. And then, as it gets to, okay, we're facing a button open. Now we can work in a lot of hands, but it's not like we're even targeting specific types of hands because we're just sort of 3-betting. We're mixing with almost every hand, right?
Hmm.
Um, should we do 30 bigs next or should we do big blind, 60 big blinds?
Let's do big blinds, 60 big blinds.
Okay, good. That's actually the one big blind is the most
This
interesting
kind
to
of
me.
is the salmon and Brussels sprouts of the conversation.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Oh
That's what I
god.
had for dinner yesterday.
Oh, nice.
It
Yeah,
was
that does
delicious.
sound good. Um, okay. So we are looking now under the gun opens. It folds to the big blind. You'll notice the 3-bet sizing, 10.3 big, slightly bigger than small blind. Um,
Why is that?
not because I think
Does it have to do with someone being behind you still from the small blind? If you're
I
in the small blind, I mean.
my guess is when we're 3-betting from big blind, it's more polar in
Mm,
a sense.
okay.
So we yeah, we're not necessarily
It's not
like
anything crazy though, so it kind of maybe doesn't matter too much.
right. But definitely make sure to go big enough here. I think a lot of people will make it like 7 or 8 bigs again, which is just giving your opponent too good of a price.
Hmm.
But yeah, let's take a look here. So we'll notice that there's a lot less 3-betting from the big blinds. Um, most people aren't looking at this chart now, but the only hands we want to pure 3-bet are aces, kings, queens, and ace king suited if we're against under the
Just to
gun.
clarify, pure means 100% of the time. There's other hands where three betting, just not all of the time.
Yep. And then we mostly do like ace king off, king jack suited, queen jack suited, king 10 suited, ace 5 suited. Hands that I'm going to
They love
in
the suited
practice call a
kings.
lot. They love the suited kings. You'll notice like king six suited, eight
That's
seven suited.
that's funny. I'll never the king six suited. It's funny because like king seven and king five suited are just pure calls, but the king six suited is split 50-50 three bet. And that just reminds
Yeah.
me of good old Josh Reichert. Like I don't know why, but that's the Josh Reichert hand. I've seen him three
It
bet
kind
or
it,
four bet king six suited like more than anybody else.
yeah. Oh, I've seen the write-ups for sure.
Yeah.
So you'll notice here, and this is, I think, gonna be the most important point of all of the big blind three bets is we want to three bet. You'll notice like 10-9 suited, Jack-9 suited, Queen-9 suited, a little bit of King-10 suited, Jack-10 suited, stuff with the 9 and the 10, and then King-Jack suited, Queen-Jack suited as well. And the reason for this is because if we look at the under the guns response to a three bet, so this is big blind three bet, under the gun is supposed to fold king queen off, ace jack off, king jack off, queen jack off, ace 10 off. Um,
Yeah.
and then
The
a
bottom
few
of
of the
their opening
weakest,
range from under the gun, essentially.
right? But also like if we look at any offsuit hand, there's 12 combinations of, and
Hmm.
then every suited hand, there's 4 combinations of. So like, with these hands, this actually represents the the offsuit stuff represents a pretty decent part of their range, even though it is only a few hands, just because
Hmm.
it's a lot of combinations.
Let me
So,
let me ask you. So queen 10 suited here. So this is under the guns what they should be doing to the three bet from big blind, right?
yep.
Um, queen 10 suited, it says very small portion, hover over that. So wait, does that say 47? Why does the green look so much smaller? It looks like it's like should be like 15%, but it says 47%.
Oh, so the 47 is our entire range.
Oh,
We
I
call
see. Okay.
47%
But
fold
okay,
45.
back to my point. Ignore that. So queen 10 suited, it wants us to fold, we'll say 85% of the time and call 10 or 15% of the time. How
Yep.
are you deciding when to call there versus fold at 85? Are you looking at a clock? Are you actually even randomizing that, or what are you doing in those situations?
No, really what I'm doing is taking into account uh, if someone goes to the right size, I'm basically gonna 100% fold this unless I think they have the bluffs. Because like,
You
I
know what
think
my
most
thought
players,
is?
hmm?
I'm 100% going to call it because I can outplay everyone.
That's that you could go that route too.
Jay,
Um,
all right.
but the trick, yeah, so it's like, if I think my opponent is just gonna have a range of queens, kings, aces, and ace king, I'm just gonna fold, right?
Hmm.
So that's the exploitative side. Like in practice, am I doing this? I'm probably pure folding. In practice, I'm probably folding a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
And let me clarify, guys. Do not try to outplay everyone. You will punt way too much. That was a joke.
that's
I'm
that's a
joking.
good point because like sometimes in an effort to outplay, you're like, oh, I'll do this because I'll outplay them later, and it's like, well, you're outplaying yourself on this street. Like
Yeah.
by making this initial mistake, they are already outplaying you because
And
you
in
made a
no way
blunder.
can you ever guarantee you're going to outplay them because you don't know what exactly they're going to do. So
Hmm. Yeah, don't lean too hard into that sort of strategy.
agreed.
Um, and yeah. So like when big blind three bets, under the gun is supposed to fold most of this offsuit stuff, and then some of the weakest suited stuff. But you'll notice like king queen, ace jack, king jack, ace 10.
Wants
The
us to fold
reason,
those.
yeah, the reason that, and so this is why, um, this is more the practical application of it. So the hands we're supposed to three bet bluff the most often against under the gun from big blind here: king jack suited, king 10 suited, queen jack suited. What do those all have in common? They're all dominated by those hands that under the gun is supposed to fold.
Okay.
And that's kind of when you're in big blind, your three bet strategy should be based around getting hands that dominate you to fold, like getting the offsuit version of those hands to
Yeah.
fold.
Yeah.
Um, and we'll go to
But what if you
oops.
dominate those hands then? Is it the opposite where you're just not three betting then? Like, do you see what I'm saying? So, like, if you dominate those hands, you don't want those hands to fold.
Yeah, so if we have you, Kind of, yeah. So you'll notice we're supposed to only flat with ace queen suited.
Okay, so that's the counter to it is we start flatting these hands that dominate to
Yeah.
keep those ones that we dominate in rather than getting them to fold.
Right. Because ace queen suited, if we three bet, then sure, if they just call, it's fine. But if we get four bet, like we could get pushed off of our equity here.
Hmm.
Um no, they're supposed to be flatting aces and ace king suited. I think people will probably four bet those two. But yeah, like the idea is, ace queen suited is far too good to um oops, that's sorry, ignore this. Um ace king suited, ace queen suited, sorry, is far too good to bluff, right? We're not
Right.
going to fold out better.
Well, do you think
But
some people three bet that thinking they're value betting?
yeah, and against later position, that's going to be a
Makes
thing for
sense.
sure.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm 100% on board where I like flatting these hands to early position opens. And that's kind of where I wanted to give you generalizations when we were chatting at the beginning. I said, can you kind of generalize our strategy versus early position versus late position opens?
yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of like, you know, flat versus early position, these stronger hands, and three bet them versus late position.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we can three bet for value much wider against like the button, which we'll look at here in a couple minutes. So this is kind of the same idea here. Let's say low jack opens, and so here we're on the screen. We're looking at a low jack open, and the weakest hands that they're supposed to open in terms of offsuit are going to be Jack 10, Queen 10, King 10, Queen Jack, Ace 10, King Jack, Ace 9.
Hmm.
So our three bet bluffs out of the big blind here should be hands that are worse than these hands. They should be suited because if we get called, we still want them to be playable hands at this stack depth. And so before we even, I don't have this memorized by any means, but I know that like we will be three betting, something like the Jack 9 suited, Queen 9 suited, um, those kind of things. And yes, I had just pulled it up right before. Like
Yeah, I was gonna say you're cheating a
I'm
little.
not like a right. So I guess the point is like I don't really know if I'm playing in game. I don't have memorized, nor do I feel the need to memorize
I mean,
which ones of these are like high frequency versus low frequency.
and I have these rules, and I don't know, I don't want to call it a rule of thumb, but I have these kind of thoughts where, and exploit me, guys, please. I don't know, you probably won't be able to, but like these hands that tend to flop really well, I end up flatting more than three betting.
Hmm.
Is that a mistake? For example, Queen 10 suited.
Yeah. Here's what I would say is obviously these hands can profitably flat or three bet. So we're
Hmm.
not,
It's
it's
I'm
not a
not
mis
wrong to do it, right?
yeah, you're not making a mistake by calling that hand out of the big blind, but technically you are making a mistake by not four betting them a decent, sorry,
Three
three
betting.
betting them a decent
I was like,
amount.
wow, we're getting deep here. Okay.
Yeah. Um, and this is something I've been working on in my game recently too, is because if we're just always, or let's say we're three betting them like 2% of the time, or
Hmm.
if we're not three betting all of this stuff and our three bet range is more like jacks plus and ace king,
I,
we're
let me, sorry, finish your thought and then I have a thought.
yeah, we're gonna miss out on opportunities to pick up the pot pre-flop, and our value is probably gonna make less money in the long run too.
Okay.
It's just gonna be a slightly less profitable strategy. Now, like again, this is all chip EV. This stuff is gonna change a lot if we're approaching the bubble, for example.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure, for sure. So for
Go
Queen
ahead.
10 suited example, I said that I like flatting this almost 100% of the time just because
Mhm.
it flops so well. And you said it might be slightly a mistake because that I'm not three betting it. That's that other percentage of the time. It's not that I'm wrong by flatting, but that I'm not balancing it with some three bets. Well, for example, here it says Queen five suited. Or let's hold on. Let me find a different one. Like, sorry, give me a second here.
Yeah.
For example, like if I'm now mixing in some three bets with King 6-0, which is specifically a pure call, can that
Mhm.
balance it instead of just doing it with the Queen 10 suited? Since I'm kind of bringing it to a, because I would rather three bet with King 6-0 than I would with Queen 10 suited because of post flop playability. Does that make sense?
So basically what you're saying is if you get 4-bet ripped on, you're like king 6 off, you're like, "Whatever,
It's
I
so,
fold."
I mean, and Queen 10 suited, I'm also saying whatever folding, but I would have much rather wanting to see a flop with Queen 10 suited than I would with the King 6 off.
Yeah, I think your strategy, if we're at 30 big blinds, I think that's gonna be a lot better.
Okay.
Um, I th because, for example, let's say we get called. Let's say our 3-bet gets called. Queen 10 suited is gonna play much better a little deeper, and then
Hmm.
king 6 off, if we get called when we 3-bet, SPR is gonna be a little over 1, like, we can still actually if we flop a pair, we can still play kind of comfortably, whereas, if we're still 50 blinds effective here, king 6 off is gonna be in hell, you
Okay.
know?
Yeah, for sure.
And s
Yeah.
yeah, and
That
so
I
the
understand. Yeah. I guess that makes sense. I'm just, I mean, you got to think deeper, right? You got to think further, I should say, rather, because, you know, King 6 off, we're just hoping for folds.
of course, and, like,
I mean,
here's
we are with
the
Queen 10 suited too, but then we can still have more
yeah.
playability.
And so I'll explain it theoretically and exploitatively. Like we can look at the expected value of 3-betting king 6 off, and it's barely minus EV, whereas calling is making a tiny bit of money. Queen 10 suited, they're both making the same. Now look, king 6 off is minus 0.01 to 3-bet and then plus 0.03 to call. So when it's minus 0.01, that means over the course of 100 hands, we're only losing one big theoretically.
So it's
So
not
king 6
terrible.
off, yeah, if you feel that your opponent is going to, you know, so if we 3-bet, they're supposed to fold 46% of their hands. If you think your opponent is folding a higher percentage of their range than that, then yeah, go ahead, like, 3-bet the king 6 offsuit or take, like any of these really.
It's hard for
Um,
me to decide if the percentage I think they're going to fold, I guess, but more so of just what they're going to fold. And that's just how my brain works, I guess.
yeah, yeah, so it's like, they're supposed to fold. They're supposed to sometimes call king, queen off, king jack off, ace jack off from the low jack, um, but mostly fold those. Like, are they gonna pure fold them? If so, 3-bet more. They're supposed to defend jack 9 suited, queen 9 sorry. They're supposed to defend, like, 10-9 suited, some jack 9 suited, um you know, but then I think stuff like pocket fives, fours, threes, people are supposed to mostly fold. I think people are probably calling those more than they're supposed to. So like that brings it in the other direction. But I guess the point is like when you feel like someone is going to fold a lot, like um let's say you have a player who you think they open super wide.
Mhm.
But then if someone 3-bets them, they'll respond by folding all the trash. I don't think you're making a mistake by just like 3-betting any piece of garbage against that player until they figure out what you're doing,
Okay.
right? Um, so yeah, I don't think you're like off in your thinking at all.
Okay.
I think that
Well, not
particular
not in regards to poker, at least.
come on, I'm being friendly here,
I
Max. Like,
appreciate it.
I'm like
I'm
you
stabbing
just
at myself here
you're
now.
just roasted yourself. How am I supposed to follow up? I'm not gonna just like kick you.
I just literally teed it up for you and you didn't even bite. I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, yeah, I teed it up for you and you didn't even bite. I should have said swing because that's like fishing, golf. Anyways, let's
yeah.
move on.
Didn't even swing. Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, you teed it up and you kind of just launched yourself too. I'm like, I didn't even need to do it.
I have a history of launching it, Wes. We'll leave it
You do,
there.
you do. Let's quick look at button open, and then we'll take a look at some 30 bigs.
Yeah, let's do it.
So when button opens, the big blind 3-bet range, it's so now we go wider for value.
Mhm.
So our value 3-bets are like eights plus, any pocket pair bigger than eights, then ace king, ace queen, ace jack suited, king queen suited, mostly ace jack off, ace 10 off, king jack
And
suited.
then I see our bluffs in there. 10-6 suited. I like it. It's not
Yeah,
100% of the time, but over 50.
yeah. So yeah, and then the bluff, like you said, 10-6 suited, 9-6 suited, 9-7 suited,
Queen
10-8
five
suited.
suited. But it's funny because it's like, I feel like people don't understand, especially ones that aren't theoretically trained. Like queen five suited is like 60%, I would say, just roughly looking at it, a three bet. But where queen six and queen four suited are like almost not a three bet at all. It's just, but that's because of what we think their response is, right?
Yeah, I mean, when anything is a mix, it means that the EVs are the same between the two actions. So it's not like, again, if you decide you're 3-betting queen 3 suited, I'm not gonna say that's like bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
if you're pure 3-betting all of these like queen 6 suited, queen 3 suited, jack 5 suited, if you're doing that all the time, you're gonna be exploitable. Like people are just gonna start
Yeah.
the
Four betting
sharp
more
players are gonna
frequently.
yeah, like open more hands that they're gonna 4-bet essentially. But you'll notice what's the let's take a look at offsuit hands. What is the most common offsuit bluff?
King 6-0. Let's
King 6
go.
offsuit.
Oh,
So, like,
yes.
I think you got these it's funny, like, your instincts are even though you don't know the theory, like, you've got instincts that are, like, in line with some of this
Do you know
stuff.
where it comes from? It comes from watching people that I think are great players play a lot and a lot and a lot, right? So
Yeah,
it's yeah. And a lot of, that's it's just that. You just watch a lot of really good players play a lot and try and digest it.
absolutely. And so we now theoretically, we're supposed to 3-bet bluff at a low frequency, ace 7 off through ace 3 off, and then, like, king 7 off, king 6 off, some queen 6 off, some king 5 off, king 4 off, and even, like, queen 8 off, jack 8 off. Now, the question is, like, why are we doing this? And it goes back to the same reason. The button is supposed to call, like, ace 10, king 10, ace 9 off, but they fold queen 9 off, king 9 off, ace 8 off, king 8 off. So, if you just take, like, think about the strongest hands that they're folding and go slightly below that. So if they're
Hmm.
gonna fold ace 8 off and worse, king 9 off and worse,
That's a
queen
good
9
way to
off
think
and
about it. I like that.
that I think that is the take that is if you get one takeaway from this, when you 3-bet bluff out of the big blind, you are doing so targeting hands that dominate you to
Yeah.
fold. So, like,
So
that's
like a
why
pip up on you. So like you said, eight. If I'm going to three bet ace 8-0, I'm thinking they're going to fold ace 9 and ace 10-0.
yes,
But now take that with a grain of salt. If you got Sticky Magoo over here, freaking not, like don't start three betting that hand because he's not going to be folding ace 9 and ace 10-0.
exactly. And so that's where theory kind of meets um, reality, where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, the optimal strategy is for both players to play this way, right? So, like, the solver isn't actually exploiting itself here. It's just like both of them trying as both sides of the solver trying as hard as they can to beat the other, right? And
Yep.
this is sort of where they land. If and you're right. Like, so let's look at if we think the button is going to be calling stuff like ace 8, ace 7 off, king 9
This is
off.
kind of where the art in poker comes in from our conversations with our guests, like having a good read on players.
Yeah, is like knowing what the player is going to do. And then the way where it kind of I don't know if it's a little art and science. It's like,
You're right. I agree with that
well,
actually,
I
thinking
agree.
about it
Like
more.
the art is knowing what the player's response is going to be.
Hmm.
And then it's like sort of an art and a science to figure out, okay, so instead of trying to play quote unquote optimal, what's my new optimal strategy against this player? And it's like, okay, well, if they're not folding to 3-bets apart from their complete garbage, we should not 3-bet bluff them ever, but we should for one thing, take the value and just three bet bigger,
Yeah, yeah.
and then maybe go wider for value, right? So like we should three bet ace 10 suited, ace 9
I
suited,
think
queen
this is
jack
an
suited.
issue or like a mistake that a lot of players make, especially amateurs. They take this linear approach versus every player versus trying to be creative versus the opponent types. But I mean, and in one issue you see um, is that most people are on their phones, like in the middle of
Mhm.
hands. So like,
We're
um,
guilty of it
yeah,
too.
I mean, we are. Yes, 100%. But if you are really truly paying attention, you can find these spots, and the best players are doing that. Really, they
Mhm.
truly are. So it's like, take it with a grain of salt. We're all human. We do make mistakes. But if you really want to try and fit but you have to pay attention as well. It's not just not be on your phone. You really have to like look and be like, wow, this is what they're doing. And then also hold that thought for when the action comes to you in a spot where you think it could actually be exploitable.
Yeah, 100%. Very well said. And like, and I feel like getting reads against individual players is just as important as getting reads against the player field as a whole. Like we talk all the time about, oh, would we play this way in a $500 tournament at Canterbury? Like that's a super sort of
Hmm.
standard tournament that a lot
Hmm.
of our listeners would play. And it's like, well, I think when we're 60 bigs deep early stage in tournaments, people kind of call three bets light.
They do for sure.
Um,
They're so deep
so
they can take a hit and not. That's their thought. Instead of thinking like, is this plus EV? It's I can take this hit and still have plenty of chips to play.
yeah, so I think we maybe don't do this as much, but it's because of an understanding about how people respond, right?
Hmm.
But then it's also like, okay, the later we get, maybe we should do this more, or we should also look at that from our button strategy. Like, okay, people maybe don't three bet out of the big blind nearly enough. So maybe our response to the three bet should be kind of nitty, because when they do it, they probably have um something pretty strong. But
Yeah,
but but that's not completely true. I think online people respond pretty
more towards
reasonably
what
to
the
three
graph
bets.
says.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, and we that's kind of a reoccurring theme as well across our episodes. It's like you're gonna find more people playing closer to GTO online than you will live.
Yeah. And but still, I think super far off
I
as
mean,
well.
you get
Yeah.
more of the spectrum online, right? You get app. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, and then lastly here, if we three bet, if we look at like 10-6 suited, 10-7 suited, like why would we three bet those from the big blind? Um, it's the same stuff. The button will open some of those hands from like 10-8 off, 10-7 off, 10-9 off, 9-8 off. They'll open those hands and they all have to fold. So like you'll notice as big blind, we are not three betting 10-9 suited, jack 9 suited, queen 9 suited as much.
Hmm.
We're three betting.
Is that because we cooler ourselves more regularly?
Yeah, cooler
Like
ourselves
we can make
slash
straights with those hands that they can make better straights with, etc.
not always. I guess where I was going with that, it was like because the button we're targeting their these offsuit folds, right?
Oh, I
And
see. I
so
see. Okay.
once we get to once we have a nine in our hand as our low card, they're not folding out the king 10, ace 10, queen 10, jack 10. So we're not accomplishing much by three betting jack 9 suited.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
But when we three bet jack 7, 10 7, 10 6 suited, 8-6 suited, we get hands that dominate us to fold
I
on the
guess that
offsuit
still
side.
lands in the line of coolering ourselves if we make something like top pair where their kicker's going to
It
outperform us.
it for sure does. It for sure that will happen with 10-7 suited too. Like if we three
Yeah,
bet 10-7 suited and get called by queen 10 suited, like
good
that
point.
can
Yeah.
still be a downside. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think that the number one takeaway should be three betting out of the big blind. We're targeting the offsuit variety of hands that dominate us to fold. And if we think that we're up against a player who's going to be too splashy and just call that, then we don't do it. But like that is generally the idea. So like here we're against the button, we're using the 7 and 6 and 8 because we're targeting the jack 9, 10 9, queen 9, king 9 and off, and obviously
That makes sense. Yeah.
all the worst stuff. But then
Mhm.
when low jack opens, the bottom of their opening range from an offsuit perspective is going to be like jack 10, queen 10, king 10.
Mhm.
So that's why we three bet stuff like jack 9, queen 9, king 9 suited from the big blind against low jack,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So
So this is remind me, we're at oh wait, we're at 30 or 60 bigs from big blind.
60.
60. Okay.
Yeah. Should we quick glance at 30? I know we
Yeah.
spent a lot of time on
Yeah, let's do that and then I got to go change some diapers.
yeah, for sure. Um all right. So we'll quick look. So when under the gun opens third off 30 bigs, our three bet size from the blinds should be
Oh God,
around
I just
8.
realized. Did you hear what I just said? I have to
I
change diapers.
I did hear
I
that. I
I
it didn't sound that weird to
oh,
me.
okay. I was like processing it for a moment. I'm like, oh, who have I become?
Yeah. You know, you got a
Daddy Max. All right,
three and a
continue.
half week old kid at home.
Yeah.
It's
You know what? It's going to probably just get worse and worse. So I'm going to embrace it at this point.
yeah, you got to.
All right, let's go.
Um okay, so out of small blinds against under the gun open, you know, we're again gonna have sort of a linear three bet range. We're even gonna have some jams. We're gonna jam tens, ace king, king jack suited, queen jack suited. And I think that when we're looking at three bet jams here, that is where the idea is kind of the same, right? So
Get
like,
those dominating hands to fold.
yep, oops, let's say small blind three bet jams.
I really like it in these 30 big blind depths, though, compared to something like deuces at 60 big blinds, even though it seems like it could be effective. 60 bigs is a pile, but I really like it because you're going to get, I mean, ace jack all the way up to maybe like ace jack to fold there. So
Yeah, it could be ace queen. Like king queen
maybe even ace
suited
queen.
is
Oh, yeah.
king queen suited supposed to kind of fold too.
Hmm.
Um, and then
Plus,
yeah,
30 bigs
so
is kind of where a lot of our listeners find themselves at the most frequent rate.
absolutely, yeah. So you know, and then yeah, the jams are like king. So right, jamming king jack suited, queen jack suited is because we get king queen and ace jack to fold, and
Is
those are
some
hands that dominate
is
us.
something like ace king. Oh, I see. It's like, we'll say 80 again, 85% jam versus raise small. Are we just doing the jam with something like ace king O to just deny equity at that point? So we're not running a 60-40 or letting them catch up on the flop.
That's a lot of it, and also we're supposed to get called by ace queen, so it's sort
Okay,
of a
so
value. It's
value as
value
well.
too.
Yeah.
Obviously, the pocket pairs we're just running it against.
I mean,
Like
you'll see ace 10
we're,
call online too, or maybe even
so
live, but
we could, yeah, but yeah, and we do get stuff like sevens, sixes, fives, and fours to fold.
mhm,
So the reason, like, and that's another key is like the reason we want to um also jam a hand like pocket tens is because if we didn't jam any pocket pairs for this sizing, then our opponent could profitably call any pocket pair. But
mhm,
when we're jamming pocket tens, you'll notice how much less profitable calling off with pairs under tens are for them.
mhm,
So tens kind of have the property of like, okay, we're making it so they can't call off with all their pocket pairs profitably, but also we're folding out a ton of these flips, right?
yeah, yeah, the
Because
equity denial
tens
portion.
super vulnerable hand, right?
Yeah, yeah. I like,
Um,
yeah, and that's kind of, I feel like that's easy for people to digest, which is good.
yeah. We'll quick look. Low jack opens small blind strategy, kind of the same. Like in terms of our small three bets, it's like aces, kings, queens, jacks, ace, king suited, ace, queen suited, some bluffs with ace 10, ace 9 off.
You sound kind
Um,
of like the person at the end of one of those pharmaceutical commercials, like explaining
yeah,
explaining the side effects.
yeah, that is kind of what we're doing, right?
Uh,
In a way.
uh.
Um, yeah, don't do this if you don't want to get on. So so we notice here against low jack, just because low jack is going to be a little wider than under the gun, our range is going to be a little wider jamming here. So we can jam ace, king, ace, queen off, ace, jack off. Then pretty much all the suited broadways we can jam. And again, we'll quick look. Actually, and then as well as tens, nines, eights, and then some ace five suited. So we'll look here, and the reason is like there when we jam, they have to fold king, queen, ace, jack, ace 10, king, jack, queen, jack. So like any suited Broadway again gets their offsuit broadways to fold. And if we run into ace, like sometimes we're in okay shape. You know, if we have jack 10 suited, it's not the end of the world to run into an ace king or ace queen, right?
Right. Yeah. You're gonna
Um,
get you're gonna get the jack queens and king jacks and potentially ace jacks to fold. But if you're against the king queens, you're a 40% compared to a 30% equity if you're all in.
yep. And yeah, and obviously too, you know, we fold out a ton of suited aces and offsuit aces. So even if we're not dominated or anything like that, we still fold out a ton of equity. Um, you know, when we get called, you know, and we're still using hands that when we get called, like, yeah, when we jam king jack suited, that sucks to get called. But sometimes, like if we're against tens, nines, eights, you know, we're in okay shape. We look at from an exploitative standpoint, I actually think people are not going to be calling off king jack suited, ace 10 suited, ace jack off. So like people are
Some
probably going
people.
to be right, of course. I think most people are not, and
I
I
would agree.
think we're
I
going
would
to
agree.
make yeah, I'm not. I don't think I am. Um and I think yeah, we get to make a little extra exploitatively that way. And then we will quick look here. Button open. So when the button opens now, we can just jam any pair tens and below
Yeah.
as small
I like
blind.
this. This is easier for me to get behind compared to the 60 big blind, but obviously there's a lot more jams here as well. But it wants us to I mean we can jam every pair up to tens at some frequency, some being pure, and then anything bigger than jacks we're just going to flat as a trap because we shouldn't have too much trouble getting 30 bigs in, right? I mean raise, I mean,
Not
sorry, not
yeah,
flat,
yeah.
raise.
Three bet to seven, 7.5 bigs. Yeah.
I see, right? I misrepresented the color. So yeah, we're going to be raising though, but not jamming because we don't want to fold out these hands. We just want to start getting chips in the middle. This is going to be
Hmm.
value.
Yeah. And then, you know, we have some you'll notice the ace eight, ace seven, ace six, ace five. Like we have some weak hands that go in the small three bet range too. And that's because like these are hands that while we definitely like they're strong enough to three bet bluff.
And
If
we can four bet to four bet jams without any issue.
for, yes, we can fold to those. And if we were to jam them, they might not have enough equity against the calling range to make that a good idea. But like an ace jack will, ace 10, you know. So yeah, for our listeners here, the other jams, small blind versus button for 30 bigs are ace 7 suited through ace 4 suited, ace king off through ace 9 off, king queen off, king jack off. Some of the suited broadways stuff. And again, you'll notice it's actually the weaker suited broadways, like king queen suited, we want a three bet small, king jack suited, we want a flat. But then the queen jack suited, king 10 suited, jack 10 suited, like
I mean,
that's
that
all a
makes
jam.
complete sense to me though, right? Because like the bigger Broadway ones, we want to get value from the shittier Broadway ones, where the smaller Broadways we want to jam because we want to get the bigger Broadways to fold that are like King, Queen, O, etc. That all makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah. And yeah, so long story short, we're a lot of the three bet bluffs are targeting the offsuit hands that dominate us to fold. Like same idea. And then the pocket pairs are it's like a mixture of getting value slash folding out some of the hands that we're flipping with, which is why we jam the smaller ones here and then three bet to a normal size with the big ones because we really want the action with those.
Hmm.
And then we'll quick look at big blinds here against 30 bigs. So when under the gun opens off of 30 bigs, you'll notice we're
Lots of
really not
flatten.
Yeah, we're not three betting much at all from the big blinds. It's like
We're
the
folding the shit triangle, as Angela Jordan would say. I mean, not even some
Jordison.
most.
Yeah,
What'd I say? Jordan.
Jordan. Yeah.
Angela Jordison would say. Yeah, essentially, it's most of the shit triangle. Like if you're looking at a graph, like that bottom triangle. But we're even mixing in some of the calls, like 4-3-0 is calling, 5-3-0 is calling, but then the 6-3, 7-3, 8-3-0s, et cetera, up to Queen 3-0 are going to fold.
Mhm. Yeah. And so like this is where I think we kind of land a lot where it's like we just flat everything, we're not really looking to three bet out of the big blind from against an early
This
position
looks
open.
like ABC to me. Like,
This is kind of ABC, and it's like so basically we're supposed to three bet tens plus and then rip queen jack suited, I guess.
that's the only one
It,
besides Ace King O
yeah,
and 10
tens
10,
queen
I
jack
guess.
suited. Yeah, it's basically um and by the way, none of them are supposed to do it
I'm surprised.
at full.
I mean, I would rip eights.
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, I might rip all for 30 bigs. I might rip all the way up to like sixes. Does that
a lot
seem?
of the pocket pairs.
Yeah, I mean, a lot more pocket pairs than the graph is saying.
Yeah, it's a little, according
I
to
don't love
theory,
it,
it's a
but
little spewy, but like again, if under the gun, this is under the gun is supposed to call us with ace jack suited. Um, I think people are going to fold ace jack suited in practice. So like you might be coming at it from a place of, people are going to overfold a little bit.
that's exactly where I'm coming from.
And I bet if we look, maybe not 25 bigs,
It opens
but
up a
like,
little bit more for like fours and fives.
yeah. And it's like your strategy might really be better if we're up against like, we'll just look, right? If the low jack opens, we're in the big blind. Now you see tens, nines, eights jam, fives jam, sevens technically three bet a lot.
That's
Jam might,
strange.
yeah.
That's weird.
Um, and you'll notice like off of 30 bigs, we suddenly now we're not three betting to a non all in size with any suited hand apart from ace king and ace queen.
Yeah.
So that's a stark difference too. We're not three betting to eight bigs here with queen nine suited. And
I mean, is this because they want us to realize our equity more?
yes, because we're gonna get jammed when it makes sense. Like when we're 30 big blinds deep, we're gonna get jammed on more than 60 big blinds.
Okay.
You know, um, and so when we three bet small here, we're not really getting as much of it. Like we're still, yes, we're folding out um the same stuff we would want to, right? The queen 10 off and whatnot. But we're gonna get jammed on more often. So and then we'll have to fold those sorts of hands, right? So this is where your whole king six off idea, I think, is a little bit better. Because when we're this short, not that 30 bigs is short, but like you'll notice
I feel like a pile when I'm deep in the tournament with 30 bigs. It feels like a
yeah,
monster. It
depends
can be,
on
right? The tournament.
depends on the stage, right?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
so I don't know if we said to the listeners, but when under the gun opens, we're any three bet bluffing is it's supposed to be low frequency with a bunch of the offsuit garbage like king four off, ace seven off, whatever. But it's even hands that are still mostly calling. And that's kind of the same here where it's like, yeah, ace eight off, king nine off, king six off, ace seven off. We kind of low frequency three bet big blind versus low jack, but we still mostly call with that stuff. Um, and yeah, the idea is, we fold out ace nine off with a three bet, but yeah, like we do a little less of it um at this stack depth. And then let's say button opens now. We're in the big blind. Kind of same thing. Like we'll do some small three betting with ace seven, queen six, king five, queen four. We actually jam ace five, like some of the weak ace X offsuit we jam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, which is kind of the same idea. Like I maybe do this more at 25 bigs in practice because I just,
I'm
we
not a
hate
fan
getting
of
called.
those,
Yeah,
just because like it's kind of like one of those things where you're never getting called by worse type situations, which
of course.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean. But it's
Well,
not.
maybe the
It,
king queen suited, king jack suited.
yeah, I mean, you're right. There are a couple,
Yeah.
depending, but I mean, you shouldn't be afraid to do it because of the amount of folds you're going to be getting from it that are hands that dominate you as well.
That right. And that's the idea, obviously, when we're jamming the weaker stuff. It is because when we get folds, like some of those folds were going to be hands we were in trouble against.
Yeah,
And lastly, I love these. I've just started doing these too, but the king seven suited, king six suited.
suited
Why would
kings.
we do this? Yeah. Um, and the reason for that is
It's just a bunch of call all around that, but then the king six and king seven suited is just like pure. Was it pure rip or
yeah,
pure
so
raise? Yeah, pure rip.
why would why would king seven suited and king six suited be the only suited hands we jam big blind against button for 30 bigs? And it's like, well, here's the button response. They're supposed to fold, a lot of the offsuit king X. They're
That
even
beats
supposed
you.
to fold king nine suited, king eight suited.
I
So
won't be
we're
surprised if they end up folding king 10 suited and king jack suited too, even though it says they're pure call.
100%. And that's probably why Josh Reichert would do it,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, even if he's not thinking about it in solver terms, like there's,
Intuitively knows. Yeah.
yeah, he knows, or he's asked people who use solvers and like, um, the idea is like, yeah, those hands sort of have a couple properties. One, they'll fold out a bunch of dominating hands, even a couple dominating suited hands. But also, if we look at our opponent's calling range, like let's say we jam king seven suited and get called. Well, it sucks, but sometimes we're up against pocket pairs we're flipping against, like the fours, fives, sixes. I mean, that's look, if we three bet jam king six suited and get called, we're in bad shape almost all
Yeah.
the time, right? But
Yeah.
that's why doing it with those hands but king deuce suited might not be as profitable because we're always screwed,
I want to, if you guys have made it this far into the episode, I want to ask you, and this is for your own benefit, to go rewatch or listen to this. If you were listening to this episode, to go rewatch it, because I will put the video version on YouTube. You will take away a lot from this episode. This is a great episode. I feel that as we start to wrap up here, I mean, not only if you're not familiar with solvers, you'll be quickly become by watching us go over it here, but you'll quickly, I mean, you can just understand your three bet ranges more visually as well, which is so helpful to do. It helps internalize so that when you are in the moment without the visuals, you can intuitively use them. So, I highly recommend checking out the video version of this. Any last thoughts, Wes, before we start wrapping it up?
yeah, just for a couple minutes, both of us, let's think like in these 500 or 1K fields, how do we think our opponents, just generally, what do we see pre-flop? And do we think there are exploits to be made, whether it means three betting more or less or different hands? Like, what do we think
So,
of the
correct me
different
if I'm
player
wrong,
types?
but generalizing, I'd say people are looser when we're deeper,
Hmm.
and tighter when we're shorter. So now the question is, do we three bet more because they're looser when they're deeper? And I don't know if that's correct either because they're going to be calling our three bets. So my counter to that is wait for more value and then just bet bigger, which we've kind of discussed already.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a great point. So like there will be players who fold appropriately, and that's where you should maybe work in some of these bluff hands. If we're up against someone who's just like splashy, which is
A lot of people.
a lot of people early in these stages, like, yeah, that's where, okay, maybe we don't three bet the 10-7 suited, but maybe we're, instead of only three betting to ace queen suited, maybe we three bet the ace jack suited just for value, right? And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
um, always, yes, maybe practice this stuff online, practice this stuff in real life too. But when you're in a real game situation, like think about what you're trying to accomplish when you three bet. Like don't just like auto default to, the 3-bet bluff hand because your randomizer told you it was this time. Like, think about the opponent you're up against and will they fold the hands that I want them to fold? Even if they're opening super wide, like you said, that doesn't mean we want to bluff them if they're not going to fold those hands that they're supposed to, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think I like what you said there.
And then to the other part, when we're shorter and deeper, we can start expanding our 3-bet ranges because people are going to generally be maybe a little bit tighter.
I think they'll be tighter if it's later in the tournament, right? Like,
Right. Yes.
yeah.
So kind of keep in mind where we're at in terms of like, I mean, even if ICM's not a big factor, like if we're near, um, if we're post money bubble, but still a few tables away, people will still generally be tighter in these spots as they want to make the final table. You know what I mean? It's not even just about making, the money,
Mhm.
the actual ICM value, but I think we can put a little more pressure in these spots versus earlier in the tournament. Will be more. Not only are the is two big blinds more valuable later in the tournament than it is earlier in the tournament, but you're going to have a higher success rate of getting your bluffs through.
Mhm. I think the one thing I've noticed too is like in terms of the 3-bet jams, especially when people are covered, like people will respond to the jams by folding a lot more, but a non all in 3-bet, they want to see flops is
Yeah,
kind of a thing.
I agree with that, especially in like live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm on board with that. This is a fun
All right.
episode. I
Yeah.
enjoyed this a
I'm
lot.
glad. Me
Yeah.
too.
All right. Well, let's spit a couple things out here real quick. I do want to start with this. Guys, as you know, I'm a new dad. I got to buy a lot of diapers. I got to buy a lot of stuff for my kids. So, um, real estate has been absolutely popping as we approach the spring market here. If you're looking to buy or sell this year, I would love to be your realtor. I will work my ass off for you, and I can guarantee that I will get you the best deal. I negotiate well. I work hard, and my hours are always available. That's just how it works. So if you guys are interested in getting some real estate transactions done this year, hit me up. You can either, reach out to me on Discord. You can send me an email. That's max.havlish@results.net. Anywhere you want to get a hold of me, you can find me on Twitter at Deuce Newcomb. And if you know me already, you probably have my phone number. But if we're interested in getting, a transaction going, just holler at me. So looking forward to that. Secondly, Discord, guys, as I just mentioned, still blowing up. People are in there talking hands. And as we approach the WSOP, it's a great place to try and sharpen your game. Click the link in the description to join our Discord and start off by getting in there and throwing hands in the hand review tab. Or I will mention, Wes, I've noticed lately a lot of people are joining our Discord but struggling to gain membership once they're in. I think a lot of people don't understand how that works. There is a set of rules there under the general tab. If you cannot find them, I will add you manually as a member within 24 hours or so. So if you get in and don't see all the tabs, just hang out for a little bit. Once I see that, once I have a time, I'll go and manually add you. It can be. I remember when I first started learning to use Discord, it was a bit weird to figure it out. So with that, just hang on. We'll get you as a member if you join in. So completely free. Thirdly, tertiary. Is that right?
Thirdly,
Thirdly, uh, we have Tilted Compass Suited Kings merch available. If you guys want to get some sweet Suited Kings merch, make sure to check out their website, which has a link in the description. There's a whole tab committed to Suited Kings gear. Also, check out their other gear that isn't Suited Kings. They have the most comfortable hoodies. They have light ones as we approach spring. I know I'm going to get some of those for golf, the light hoodies, as well as backpacks, et cetera, et cetera. The backpacks are super cool. Our Patreon currently is on a hold in terms of content creation. We still have roughly 50 videos. If you're interested in joining, going through all
66,
those.
I think. 66 video.
66. Holy
Yeah.
shit. I think it's like $15 a month if you want to get access to all those videos. We will not be putting out new videos, so feel free to, get in there, watch all the videos and cancel your subscription, whatever you want to do. We will get back into that making content once we have more time. So we're just kind of focusing on the things that we want to focus on at this point. We have obviously the WSOP prep series coming up. It's going to be some great content, so make sure to hang out for that. Wes, what else am I missing?
Join Clubs Poker, plan our meetup game. We're gonna have another one next Tuesday. So use the link in the
What's that date?
description. That will be the 24th,
Nice, nice, nice.
March
Yes.
24th. Yeah,
Will I
club says,
ever
I mean,
be? Will I ever be on top again? I'm a three-time winner,
I,
but
yeah, but you stop after 2 bullets now. You're like,
a quitter.
you're a quitter. I mean, someone called you Min Havlish last time.
Oh, good God. I can't allow this. All right, we're firing
Yeah.
away next time. This is unacceptable. But I'm sure it was
Um,
that he who shall not be named.
it was.
Of
It
course it
was.
was. So yeah, make sure to check out Clubs Poker. Please use the link in the description to sign up if you're new to it. That helps support the podcast. We greatly appreciate that. If you're looking to get like some mixed game practice, they have every single mixed game at micro stakes all the way up to mid stakes on there, and they have all the cool games. They have like the deuce to seven game in caches, straddles, all that good stuff if I remember correctly. So and it's just pure fun. You can throw shit at Wes, like literally, and then throw a flaming
A
arrow at him
flaming
afterwards.
arrow. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my
it's
favorite.
my favorite combination: the shit emoji followed by a flaming arrow to really light him up. Uh, and with that, guys, just really looking forward to putting out these next couple months of content as we approach the WSOP. Let's get cracked.
Get cracked?
Yeah, not
Is that a
that's like
phrase?
that's a kid's term for getting like really good at something, not like smoke crack.
Okay, that makes sense.
As someone in diapers, I
I've heard
figured you would
let's
have
get
known that.
cracking, but
Oh, okay. No, not that. Just like I'm cracked. It's like,
let's get cracked.
yeah, let's get cracked.
Okay,
Like we're gonna
that's a
be the
new
top.
one.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's not
Max,
actually
in a
new,
few
but
what's funny is in a few years, you're gonna know all the sayings the kids say,
yeah. Yeah.
and I'm not like it's gonna be almost reverse. Like you're gonna know all
But I'm gonna
the
be the old dad who like says it and then all the kids cringe and then it quickly loses its like value as like being cool. You know, like the
that's
six,
true.
seven thing.
Yep.
Like the old people started saying it now and all the kids are like, oh God, that's
Yeah.
that's outdated now. So
Yeah,
it's the circle of life, Wes.
it is.
It's been a pleasure, my friend. Hope you have a good day. Good luck on the online felt and live if you guys are playing at all. And we'll see you next week with another episode.